see here, I'm finally getting around to making what I think is probably going to be my most memorable slash also the most impactful video of the channel, because I'm finally going to reveal the secrets of the Arc Titan and the Glaive combo. It's been a long awaited time, but I really wanted to do this right, and I think I've finally honed and perfected the build to the best of my abilities. So, without further ado, here we go. First and foremost, obviously, we're on Striker, the Arc subclass. Don't mind my not having prismatic, we still have to do that. It's not important. So, not like it really matters, but I like having Fist of Havoc over Thunder Crash for PvP. I think I forgot to mention that this is my PvP build, but that's pretty much what I'm known for, so yeah. Fist of Havoc, wonderful super. Supercharge your fist and slam the ground with the force of a maelstrom. While active, press R1, quickly dash forward, dealing damage to any impacted targets, and press R2 to slam your fist down. Slam your fist to the ground, blinding targets and dealing damage in an area around you, leaving aftershocks in your wake. Performing a slam from the air or after a dash deals additional damage. I really love doing that, and it's made for some quite fun kills. Then we have abilities, which for class, I really like Thruster for more than one reason. One, because it makes me feel a lot more agile, because we are on Titan and we don't have dodge like hunters do, and that is one downfall. Because normally I'm a hunter main, if anyone didn't actually know that. But the Thruster makes me feel like I can dodge a little bit more quicker, and it's quite helpful for closing the gaps for melee kills. And I also just never end up using my barricades, so Thruster it is. And then jump is kind of optional, you can choose whatever you are more comfortable with. But I personally prefer Strafe Lift. Jump while airborne to activate lift and launch into the air with strong directional control. Basically meaning if you start jumping forward and you need to beeline it to your right, it's a lot easier and you don't have to like necessarily even turn your camera all that much. And you'll be able to change direction quite a lot easier than with catapult and high lift. In melee, I like seismic strike because it's so evil, especially because we're amplified almost all the time after melee kills. But after sprinting for a short time, activate your charge melee ability to slam shoulder first into your target, damaging and blinding targets in an area around them. And while you're amplified, the blind radius is increased. This is so mean, and because we run a 190 melee for the glaive, this melee pretty much one-taps every time, guaranteed. It's so evil. Next we have Grenade. I've used a bunch of grenades. I kind of cycle back and forth between Storm Grenade, Flashbang when I want to be mean, and the Lightning Grenade because it's kind of like the Solar Trip Mine, but we're not on Solar, so. But Storm Grenade, a grenade that calls down a focused lightning storm. Flashbang, an explosive grenade that damages and blinds nearby targets. And Lightning Grenade, a grenade that sticks to any surface and emits bolts of lightning. Now onto aspects, which are very important for survivability and just fun in my opinion. We have Knockout first and foremost, which, critically wounding a target or breaking their shield infuses your melee attacks with arc energy and increases your melee range against combatants and melee damage against combatants and guardians for a short time. Defeating targets with melee attacks makes you amplified, so are melees, because it doesn't say powered melee attack, so every melee and glaive kill makes you amplified, and restores a portion of your health. Defeating more powerful combatants increases the amount of health restored. So all around, Knockout is super good for the way of the glaive, and I really enjoy this aspect. Next we have Juggernaut, with full class ability energy, and after sprinting for a short time, which I do all the time because I'm constantly running around because we're always amplified and pokey-stabbing everyone to smithereens. But after sprinting for a short time, you gain a frontal shield that blocks incoming damage, and when the frontal shield breaks, your class ability energy is depleted. When the frontal shield takes damage, you gain a stack of Bolt Charge, and accumulating stacks of Bolt Charge. While you have Bolt Charge, sustained weapon damage generates stacks of Bolt Charge. At maximum stacks, any ability damage generates a powerful bolt of arc lightning at the target's location. Receiving a stack of Bolt Charge also grants you melee energy. And while amplified, the shield blocks significantly more damage before breaking. So, Juggernaut, in conjunction with Knockout, and the Glaive melee all the time being amplified, you have crazy damage resistance. Next we have Fragments. First off we have a Spark of Resistance. While surrounded by combatants, you are more resistant to incoming damage. And it also gives you +10 to melee, which I absolutely love, because we need that 190 melee for the 2 taps. I mean, I guess it's not essential. You can 3-shot melee, normally. But I like a snappy 2-shot. Next fragment is Spark of Haste. While sprinting, you have greatly increased health stat. Next fragment, Spark of Feedback. Taking melee damage briefly increases your outgoing melee damage, and gives you +10 to health. Next fragment is Spark of Instinct. While critically wounded, taking damage emits a burst of damaging arc energy that jolts targets. Next part of the build is, of course, probably equally as important as the build subclass itself, is stats. Of course, first and foremost, we need 190 melee for 2-tap glaives. I like to run as much health as possible for PvP because it can just be so crazy with hand cannons of all natures and team shots to the heavens. Ideally I would like a little bit more grenade, but 25 grenade stat is what we have. 65 super, also a little on the low side. I would prefer it to be in the 70s. Our class stat is 40. While I do use the thruster a lot, I don't find that I need too much class, because it comes back generally pretty quickly. And my weapons, I kinda don't really care about weapons too much, particularly for glaiving builds. So if anything, I would prefer to have some of these stats in grenade. And speaking of armor, I have a 2 set bonus of Swordmaster. Damaging a target with a sword, glaive, or any melee attack exhausts them. Exhausted targets deal reduced outgoing damage. So on your first glaive hit, your target will now deal reduced outgoing damage. So you have extra time to kill them. Super good. Super useful. And you get this from Pinnacle activities. Bushido armor set is my second double piece, because final blows with freshly drawn or reloaded weapons heal you. And I find that it does work for glaives, as long as you bring out your glaive upon an encounter, which is what I normally do. I run around with my guns and then grab my glaive out, close the gap, and secure the kill, and or die. That happens too. And it also works quite well for my shotgun. I love having a shotgun. The pièce de résistance, the most important, maybe, of this whole build, is ACDO Feedback Fence, the exotic arms for Titan. These exotics make the glaive build just that much better. I do like using Hunter, and they don't have this, and glaives are still very strong, but if you want to make the most of glaiving, definitely give ACDO a try. Their exotic perk, melee hits, so any glaive hit grants armor charge, and you take less melee damage from combatants while you have armor charge. Taking melee damage causes you to emit a burst of damaging arc energy that jolts targets, consuming your armor charge and dealing more damage based on the number of stacks consumed. It was nerfed with Monument of Triumph update, but it's still quite good. So essentially, you take less melee damage from combatants, which is great because glaives are very up close and personal, so those pesky melees that sometimes finish you off have a slightly less chance of happening, while also having armor charge and jolting targets. It's very, very good. The jolt has actually killed so many people for me. It's insane. And then last but not least, you just need a glaive. Lately, I've been using Winterbite quite often because it allows me to have 2 different guns. It is rather unfortunate because the heavy, while useful, isn't the most practical heavy, because the projectile can be shot and destroyed, but any glaive will work. My typical choice and preference, though, are aggressive frame glaive. They don't shoot as fast as other glaives, but they're quite tanky, and they have really exceptional range, so you can shoot people from so far across the map. It's rather bugged. It's very mean. That should be everything in the build. Do let me know if you try it out. I love me some glaiving. Thank you for watching. Do enjoy. See you next time, Guardian.